So we are discussing about the scanning part. Yeah, part of a scanning we have learned like the host discovery scan and how to define the ports, like like port scan, and also when you do the port scan, it's automatically giving us the service details and version details, right? And also how to identify the operating system details, okay, with the help of the nmap. But the conclusion, what we have uh, decided is basically there is nothing, a specific tool that can directly give you the operating system details for us until and unless they themselves disclosing using certain code, right? So let's do the same thing today. Then let's quickly revise the things that we have covered yesterday. Then later we will go and capture the different types of the scans using the Wireshark, and yeah, we'll understand like the different types of scans. Is my voice okay, guys? Now is it still breaking? Actually, here it is heavy raining. Not sure if there is any issue with the network. Is it only for you, Imran, or anyone else is also having the same issue? Guys, can you hear me properly? Okay. Is it okay now? Hello? Okay, cool. I think Sharanya has confirmed that my voice is clear. Uh, okay. I hope it's clear. If in case if you have the same issue, just let me know, guys. I'll see what's the issue. Okay, that's good. Yep. So let's quickly go to the Linux operating system and let's quickly revise the things that we have completed yesterday. So my Kali is up and running. So let's say I want to perform the host discovery scan in my network. So let's say here I'm using the nmap tool for performing the host discovery scan. So what is the command that we are using to perform the host discovery scan with the nmap? Yeah, guys, first let me check what is my IP range. So this is my IP range. Okay, this is class 3 private IP. So I wanted to perform the scan, okay, on my class 3 network. Of course, I need to check how many devices are connected over here. So I can use net discovery because as it is an internal network. Okay, so net discovery can also help us to get the IP. I mean, to get the alive system details for me. Or else you can also use the nmap and -s and small n. Then you can give the IP range over here, which is 5 dot, yeah, 1/24, which is also indicate the class C. Let me hit enter. Yep, you can see here we have the 4 systems up in my network. Yeah, here also it says 4 systems. I mean, here it says 3 systems, but it is not considered my system IP address, which is the Kali Linux IP address. Okay, so here it is also considered my system, and it's saying that it's up, right? So we got to know that there are 4 different machines which are connected right now to my network. So one of the system, I am gonna use it, over here for understanding purpose, like learning purpose is Kali Linux operating system, which is running on the virtual box So this is the IP address which is running on the VirtualBox 5.89. So I'm taking this IP address to perform the port scan. So nmap, I want to perform the port scan now. So I'm just giving the IP address over here, which is 5.89, and I want to perform the port scan for all the ports, right? So I'm giving the -p-. When you want to give any specific port, so you can mention, what are the ports that you want to scan like this, right? -p, maybe 10 to, or maybe 1 to, uh, you know 500 or 5000, okay, so etc. But here let me give -p-, and anyway this is gonna send a SYN packet to each and every port defaultly, but we can also specify by giving -s and S, so that it's gonna send the SYN packet to every port. Okay, so now the scanning is happening on the 5.89, and it's gonna send a SYN request to each and every port. Okay, so yesterday I have explained you what will happen if I send a SYN request to a specific port, right? So what will happen? It will send a SYN packet to a specific port. Maybe let's say here in this example, port number 21. So when the port number 21 is open, they respond back, okay, as with the SYNAC packet, right? They respond back with the SYN plus acknowledgement. So when you send a SYN packet to all the ports, the open ports will give you the response back with the SYNAC. So the nmap is identifying that the port is open whenever it receives the response SYNAC, right? Then later we send the reset packet because we don't want to establish any communication with the port number 21. Our intention over here is to just knock the port and check whether it is alive or not, right? So this is what will happen when you send the SYN packet. So nmap will defaultly send the SYN packet, right? So we'll discuss about the different types of the scans, and we'll also capture the same packets in the Wireshark. Okay. Yeah, we'll also capture the same packets in the Wireshark and we'll understand it. But yeah, before that, let's just complete the things that we have done yesterday. So while scan is running, okay, if you give enter over here, it will tell you how much percentage the scanning is left and scanning is completed. Okay, so you can say almost 67.30% is done. Okay, and if you see here, one undergoing SYN stealth scan, which means it is sending a SYN packet to each and every port, and I think it's gonna complete this process in next 1 minute, almost close to 1 minute. So this is taking a time because there might be a firewall enable. Yeah, there is a firewall enable because yesterday we have also learned the different types of port status results. Okay, one is open. Of course, when you say open, it is open, right? There is some kind of a service running and it is ready to communicate. And when you say close, of course, there is nothing running and the port is closed. But here, if you see, there are like almost 5 ports are open, but the other remaining ports, okay, 65,530 ports are filtered, right? Which means there is actually a firewall in between. So we discussed that whenever there is any kind of a result that we have with the filter, which means that there is a firewall. We are not sure about the port status, whether it is open or closed, right? There is some kind of a firewall. So what do we do? Let's say, uh, let me go and turn off the firewall, and if we initiate the scan again, we will get to know the status as a close. we get to know the status as a close. Now, if I initiate this the same scan now, it's going to complete soon because there is no one that they are blocking. I mean, there is no firewall that is blocking us, and also it's going to give us the port results as a closed. Okay, so we'll get the complete details of open or closed. We'll be not having any results which are filtered. So that's the reason whenever you are using any vulnerability scanner in your internal network also, what we do is we ask the network team to whitelist our vulnerability scanner IP address, okay, in the host-based firewall or in the network firewall, so that we'll be not having any results filtered. We'll be having all the results, okay, open or closed. So we'll be having the complete status about the different ports, right? So this is about the, of course, the different types of port status, okay, open, close, and filtered. Okay, so when you run this scans, so it's giving, okay, 80 TCP, open, and HTTP service name, but it is not giving what version of the HTTP is running, what version of MSRPC is running, and it is not giving the complete details about the each and every port, right? So as an attacker, he will try to gather the version details as well, right? So version details are also important because if in case if it's identified, let's say XYZ version, so he will go and check it out in the vulnerability databases. Okay, is this version is having any kind of critical vulnerabilities that we can exploit it. Okay, so uh, so of course we run this vulnerability scans also. That is the next part, but let's understand the nmap over here. Okay, so it's taking some time. It says 34% is completed. I think it's taking too long, guys. Let me cancel the scan. Let me just initiate the scan for only 1000 ports. Okay, so that we'll get the results quickly. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just doing the 1000 port scan. Okay, let's not go for all the ports. So we got the 99 ports are closed and the other ports are open. So we don't have anything over here filtered. So I want to identify the version details of the each and every port. Okay, I got to know that there is HTTP is running, MSRPC is running, NetBIOS is running. There are, let's say, a couple of ports are open, they are running. Okay, so I want to identify what exactly is the operating system that they are using. Sorry, of course, the operating system is also important. Okay, and also what services that they are using. So I'll use small s and capital V to identify the version details, right? So it's going to give us the version details for us. Enter. Yeah, 50% is done. Yep. So if you see here, we got the version details as well. We got to know that there is something running with the name of bad blue, HTTPD 2.7, and MSRPC, and there is a port 445 which is SMB. You can see it's telling that, of course, it's a Microsoft Windows, but it's telling that it could be Windows 7 or Windows 10, and all the other ports are like Windows, RPC ports. And here, because there is a port which is NetBIOS is open, it identified the host name. You can see we got to know their host name of the system, and we got to know their MAC address, and it performed the MAC lookup, and it's telling that it's running in the virtual box. Okay, this is cool. Okay, even if I want to identify the operating system details, I'll be using -capital O. So it's gonna guess the operating system. Okay, so there is no specific tool that's gonna help us to identify the operating system. It's all about guessing, and it's all about depending on the open ports and the response. So I know it is Windows, but it could be Windows 7 or it could be Windows 10 or 8.1 also. We don't know. Yeah, maybe if we start doing the enumeration on the specific specific port, maybe we'll get to know about the exact operating system details. Okay, so that is the later part. So now let's understand the different types of scans using the Wireshark tool. So before going to the Wireshark tool, so let's first understand what is the three-way handshake is. I mean, what is the TCP is, what is the UDP is. Okay, so can anyone just tell me what is the TCP and UDP, and what's the difference between them, and what is the TCP flags, etc. Like what is the three-way handshake, connection establishment process, or connection reset process? Yeah, guys. Hmm? Okay, so the operating system scan is also done. You can see we have the same result, but here it says that it could be Windows 7, 8, 8.1. Okay, it is not telling what exactly is the operating system that they are using. It's just telling it's a guess. Okay. Uh, yeah, this is the one part, okay, that we have covered in yesterday's session. So now today I'm gonna help you to understand the different types of scans with the help of the Wireshark, right? So before that, let's understand what is the TCP and UDP is. So what is the TCP and UDP? Like you must be gone through the OSI layer, OSI layers, right? So first one is the physical layer where all the physical devices are connected, like desktop, okay, laptop, etc. And this desktop and laptop will be connected to the next layer, that is the data link layer, okay, where you will be having like switch or hub kind of a devices, because of course like laptops and desktops will be connected to the switches, and these switches will be connected to the next layer, that is the network layer. So I'm just explaining orally, guys. I'm not spending more time over here. So this is the router, okay, where you have the uh, yeah, this is the router, this is the network layer, and from there what will happen, it is a transport layer. Okay, the data will transfer from the router to outside, right? So this is fine. Okay, so here we have the physical layer, data link layer, and network layer. So the TCP UDP comes over here in the transport layer. Okay, because these two are the major transport layer protocols. All the protocols UDP. These are the two major transport layer protocols. Okay, all the 65,535 ports, okay, or all the services will run either in the TCP or in the UDP. Okay, in TCP, what will happen is, let's say here also it is same. Okay, so here also he'll be having a router, and this guy is also connecting into his network. So here also the scenario is same. Let's say I want to communicate, or I want to transfer the data in the UDP. Okay, I want to transfer the data in the UDP. So what will happen is, in UDP, it is just sending the data. What will happen in the UDP? It is just sending an information to the opponent. It will not look whether the data is received or dropped somewhere. It will not bother. Okay, because it is just sending a data. Like maybe like gaming. Have you ever seen someone is playing PUBG? Every time they say that it's lagging. The reason why it is lagging is they are using the UDP protocol, because the server will be sending the UDP packets to you, but sometimes due to some network issue or uh, the packets are dropping somewhere, and he is not receiving those packets. So that's the reason there is a lag. I mean, there is a part of portion is missing. And let's say you're talking the phone. Okay, so what will happen if in case if there is a network issue, guys? We ourselves need to tell them, hey, could you please repeat once again? Because the packets are dropped somewhere. Okay, we are not received whatever they are talking. So UDP is used for the faster communication, like gamings, okay, for voice and etc. But it is not reliable. Okay, it is just sending a data. It will not check whether the packet is reached to the destination or not. That is UDP. But in TCP, it is not like that. Okay, in TCP, let's say if you are sending the 100 MB of data. Okay, so of course this 100 MB data will be transferred to the receiver, and it will also verify whether this 100 MB data is transferred or not. If any part of a data, if any packets have dropped anywhere, the other system will give the acknowledgement. Okay, the other system will give you the acknowledgement saying that, hey, there is like packet 6 or 7 is got dropped, I didn't receive. Please send me those packets 6 and 7, because TCP is acknowledgement based communication. Okay, when you send 10 packets, the TCP will confirm that okay, the 10 packets are received. If in case if there is any packet got dropped, it will tell that okay, this packet is missing. Please resend this packet. Like, have you ever encountered any kind of a situation like you are downloading a movie from the of course HTTP protocol, and let's say if you're downloading any kind of a file, maybe book. Have you ever encountered that there is some kind of a movie or some kind of a pages are missing in the book? No, right? Because it will ensure that okay, all the data is transferred and every packet will be having an acknowledgement. So here the data transmission, okay, is handled by the TCP flags. Okay, the data transmission is handled by the TCP flags. It is not like directly sending the information to opponent. Okay, it will check whether they are available or not first. Okay, let's say I want to communicate with you. I will first send a SYN packet. Like, hi, are you there? When you say I'm there, okay, we are ready to communicate. I mean, they send the SYN packet. Okay, they will also send hi, and they will give you the acknowledgement for the hi which I have sent. Okay, so I send a SYN. they sent an acknowledgement to me, and also they sent a SYN. So I need to also send the SYN to them, right? So once this process is happen, then only the connection will start in the TCP. I mean, after that only the data transmission will happen. Okay, then the session will be created. Then all the data will be transferred and it will be presented for us. Okay, so this is called TCP three-way handshake. So I'll show you this in the Wireshark. Okay, quickly. So we have a tool called Wireshark over here, which is packet capturing and packet analyzing tool. So let me double click on the ETH0 because I'm running the Ethernet, and let me open a browser. Okay, or let's not go with the browser. Okay, let's just stick with our own system. What I'll do is I'll just use nmap. I'll take the same IP address. Okay, and let me first perform the TCP scan. What I'm doing, I am performing the TCP scan. I said, right, in the TCP scan, what will happen? It will it will complete the three-way handshake. Okay, so I am performing the TCP scan on a single port. Okay, let's not go and perform the scan for all the ports. Anyway, there is a port 80 which is open, right? So I am performing the TCP scan on the port 80. So let's just simply continue without saving. Okay, let me recapture it. Okay, it's capturing. Now let's enter. We got the result. Okay, it's saying that the port is open. And if you go to the Wireshark and if you apply the filter, which is IP dot address equal to 192.168.5.89. Here is the data transmission, okay, from the my system to target. So this is the number, and this is the epoch time, and this is the source, my IP address, destination, which is Windows 7. So I'm probing the port 80. You can see what I'm saying. I'm saying SYN, hi, and they are giving a reply to me saying that SYNAC, right? You can see port number 80 is given reply to me saying that SYN plus ACK, which means the port is open. And we also send acknowledgement to it, so the three-way handshake is completed. But after that, I don't want to continue the or establish the session. Okay, it is just I wanted to check whether the port is open or not. Okay, so have performed the TCP scan, so three-way handshake is done. Then later I send the reset plus acknowledgement to it. Okay, because our intention over here is to check whether the port is open or not. So when you do the TCP scan, the three-way handshake will be completed. Okay, when the port is open. Let's say if you're doing the SYN scan. Okay, I'll tell you the difference between the SYN scan. So let me go and perform the SYN scan over here. So instead of TCP scan, let me go and perform just a SYN scan and enter. You can see it is captured. So in SYN scan, what will happen is the three-way handshake will not complete it. Okay, you can see we send a SYN, we got a SYNAC, and we automatically send a reset packet. So here the three-way handshake is not completing, but in the TCP scan, the three-way handshake is completing. Okay, so if you see here, nmap will uses the hyphen smallest and capitalist, SYN scan. Okay, this is the default scan of an nmap. Even if you're not defining smallest and capitalist, it's gonna send the SYN packet to each target port. So we call this as a half open scan. Why we'll call it as a half open scan? Because the three-way handshake is not completing over there. right? So what will happen? I mean, the three-way handshake is not completing, but still, once we receive this SYNAC packet from the target, we are concluding that the port is open, right? So this is what it is happening. When the port is open, we are sending a SYN to them, and they're giving the SYNAC, and we are doing the reset. When the port is closed, okay, we are sending a SYN, and they are giving the reset packet without SYNAC packet. But when it comes to hyphen smallest and capital T, it is a TCP scan. So we call this as a full open scan. Here the three-way handshake is getting completed. Right. So what is the difference between the two scans? And everything is sending us in, but here the three-way handshake is completing. Here the three-way handshake is not completing. Right. So if you wanted to check if the port is ready to communicate or not, so the TCP scan is something which is going to help us. Right. If you wanted to check by sending a SYN packet, just a response of the port, whether it is receiving, whether it is sending the SYNAC or not, you can use the SYN scan. Of course. Okay, here the difference between them is this will complete soon. Okay, here the three-way handshake is not completing, but here after completing the three-way handshake, it is identifying the port status is open or closed. Okay, then we have the acknowledgement scan. So if I wanted to send an acknowledgement packet, let's say if I send a SYN packet, of course they respond with the SYNAC if the port is open. But instead of SYN packet, if I send an acknowledgement packet to them, what will happen? See, if I send a SYN packet, that's fine. Okay, they said that okay, you're ready to. I mean, you're saying hi. Okay, and you're trying to communicate with me. But when you're saying without SYN, okay, when you're saying acknowledgement to me, what happens is when we send an acknowledgement packet to them, they'll be like, hey, we didn't even establish a connection. Why you are sending an acknowledgement? They give a reset packet for us. Okay, this is when the port is open. Let's say when the port is closed, maybe 800. Okay, so this is also same. Okay, when the port is closed, also you will be having a reset packet. But what is the use of this acknowledgement scan side? Because when the port is open, it is sending a reset packet. When the port is closed, it's sending a reset packet. So actually, we use this acknowledgement scan to identify the unfiltered port, which means there is a firewall sitting or not. But if I go and enable the firewall and if I perform the same scan, you can check the difference now. Same thing, I'm running it on the, okay, when the firewall is enabled, you can see I'm sending an acknowledgement to them, but there is no response. Now, if you go and check it out, the result now, it says filtered because there is something is blocking. And the before results where we have received the reset packet, you can see it says unfiltered, there is no security. So we use this acknowledgement scan to identify the unfiltered ports. I mean, there is a firewall or not. Okay, it is in between. Okay, this is fine. Okay, we know about the SYN scan, we know about TCP scan, we know about the acknowledgement scan. Okay, until now, whatever we have discussed is all about TCP. But there is another protocol also which we have, which is UDP. But nowhere when I perform the scan, I have seen that UDP results. It's always TCP, TCP. Who knows if in case if there is a UDP services, there might be a UDP services running. How to identify them? So you can perform the UDP scan. Okay, one thing here, please note, guys. UDP scans, TCP scans, Both are different. When you're trying to perform a TCP scan, only TCP ports will respond. When you're performing the UDP scan, only UDP ports will respond. Because TCP will not communicate with UDP, UDP will not communicate with the TCP. Understand? And it's also going to take more time. So here what will happen is we will send a UDP packet to a port. Okay, here you can see there are many things are happening. So we will send a UDP packet. Okay, let me stop and let's analyze this. So we will send, you can see UDP packet to a port and it says ICMP destination unreachable when the port is closed. Okay, but when the port is open, okay, in my system, I don't think I have UDP ports are running because there is no UDP ports are running actually. So that's the reason everything is saying that it's a destination unreachable. Okay. So if in case if there is any UDP services are running, you have to send only UDP packet to identify them. Okay. There are that is a rule. Okay. UDP will not communicate with the TCP. TCP will not communicate with the UDP. So here I don't think have some UDP ports are running in my system. So I'm not gonna get any results. Maybe let me see. The net bias is something which runs in the TCP and UDP. Okay, it says close. You can see UDP is close 130. Okay, let me scan 137. It says open and filtered. Okay, 137 here we didn't get any response, but here it says that open and filter. You can see net bias. It's also UDP. Got it? Guys, any questions? Yeah. Okay. So there are different types of scans also there, guys, like XMA scan, null scan. So an XMA scan is nothing but we use hyphen small s and capital X. So the pattern of the scan will be in the X type. Like, of course, we don't use them in the real time, so I'm not covering them to create the confusion. So I'm just giving the scan names to you just to go through it. This is the XMA scan, and we have the null scan. So just go through them. Okay, so these scans we use it to bypass the firewalls. Okay, so we are done with the scanning. Now we have all the information about the open ports, like what version it is running, what services are they running, and etc. Right. So next we need to perform the enumeration on them. Okay, so Nmap is also have something called NSA script engine. Okay, it has the various types of scripts. You can also run the scripts against the target. Okay, to maybe for the enumeration purpose, information gathering purpose, vulnerability detection purpose, etc. etc. So where do we able to see these all the Nmap NSA scripts? Is you can go to user share Nmap and scripts. If you go to this location and if you give ls, you have all the NSA scripts over here for the various different purposes. So to use the scripts in automated way, like you can see you have the enumeration scripts with this naming format like NU. You can also give like ls script NU. It will give you all the enumeration scripts to you. Okay, you can choose Like you can copy any enumeration scripts and you can run it. But let's say for for only SMB you have so many scripts. So how do we run these all the so many scripts at a time? Is you can use the same command, the one which we have used previously. Okay, then you can write hyphen hyphen script equal to, you can specify the script name. Let's say I wanted to check, okay, using SMB because SMB port is open. Okay, when we have done the last scan, okay, let me first initiate the scan on the target. We got to know that there is a SMB running which is 445 in the port number 445. Let's say I want to enumerate. I want to check to which domain the SMB is connected. So you can use like hyphen P 445 hyphen hyphen script equal to, and let's run the scripts which can help us to get the domain names from where it is connected. We didn't get any domain names over here because it is just connected to work group. Similarly, if you want to run the other scripts, you have to use this script, or else the best way I can show you is you can just use hyphen small s capital C. So automatically it will pick up the required enumeration scripts according to the open port, and it will give you the results for you. This is cool, right? So if you use hyphen small s and capital C, automatically it will check with all the NSE scripts and it will give you the results for us. Yeah, 90% is done. So it's taking time. Okay, so meanwhile, let me also explain you about the aggressive scan. Okay, we use this hyphen small s and capital C for running the enumeration scripts in automated way. We also have something called hyphen capital A, which is the aggressive scan. So aggressive scan is the combination of SYN-scan. Okay, you can see here SYN-scan, version detection, operating system detection, and it will also run the enumeration scripts, automatically according to the open port, and it will also perform the trace route. Understand? So if you use the aggressive scan, it's doing everything. Okay, it's doing almost all everything for us. It's gonna give us the complete details about the target, and this is cool, right? But it's gonna take long time because it's doing so many things in the background. So you can use the aggressive scanning. That is the best way to get the complete results of a that is the best way to get the complete results of a particular system. So here you can see, I think the enumeration scripts have executed. So you can see here there is MSRPC ports are open, so it's identified the time, and 139 is open. So it ran the NBT states. NBT state, this is to identify the host name and different users. an SMB discovery. Okay, SMB OS discovery. You can see the SMB port is open and it's vulnerable. So it's given us the operating system details over here. Windows 7 Ultimate 76000 and 6.1. And I got the host name, and I got to know that it's not connected to any domain. And there is a guest account used in that. And also message signing enabled but not required. Okay, we can log in to SMB and we can download the shared files without giving the logging in, and we got when it is started. So almost all the SMB scripts have executed and we got some results over here. But the same thing, now let me do it with the aggressive scan. I'm removing everything. I'm doing the aggressive scan, and let me save the output in the normal text file. Okay, nmap.txt. Okay, later we can analyze it. So we can also save the scans in a different format also, like in XML, in a grippable format, but I'm just saving it in the normal text. Okay, if you replace capital N with the X, it will save it in the XML. If you replace it with the capital G, it will save it in the grippable format. Okay, so I'm now running the aggressive scan. It's going to take time, but it's going to give the complete results to us, and I'm going to save these results in the nmap.txt file. Okay, so once we have this complete details, okay, now what we got to know that there are a couple of ports are open, what versions are running, and we also enumerated about the operating system details. They are running the Windows 7. It's not connected to any domain. And what we got, the different versions of the each port, right? So once we have these results, we'll manually take these results and we'll look at into the vulnerability databases to see if there is any vulnerabilities are existent. Of course, the operating system itself is a vulnerable. Okay, I mean to say the Windows, it is a Windows 7, okay, which is EOL, end of life operating system from the Microsoft. They are no longer supporting this operating system. So there could be many, vulnerabilities and uh, you know, because it is old, the exploits also available in the internet. So we'll use some of the exploits to get into the Windows 7. So we got all the details about the each and every port. So now I'll share you this TXT results to you. Now I want you to analyze these results. Okay, or else you can set up your own system. Okay, Windows 2008 R2 or Windows 10 or Windows 7. Okay, and I want you to perform the scans on your system. Okay, uh, like by using different scans and check the difference and understand it. So tomorrow, what we'll do is manually, okay, with the help of the details, whatever we got it, let's check it out in the vulnerability databases. Okay, maybe like by visiting the cvdetails.com or NVD, National Vulnerability Database. So we'll go to the NVD or CV details, and here we will search. Okay, let's say what is the first one it is running. Port number 8 it is running HTTP, which is bad blue HTTPD 2.7. Let's copy this. Let's simply put it over here. Okay, you can see we got many results over here, which is matching 2.7, 2.7, 2.7, 2.7. Almost we got 4 different results. Okay, let me click on it. Yeah, you can see I got the bad blue 2.7, all vulnerabilities with their CV details, with the CVSS score, and about the description also I got it. So, and what type of a vulnerability it is. There is a denial of a service vulnerability. information disclosure vulnerability, directory traversal attack, and also execute code overflow. Like this is buffer overflow vulnerability. So we'll see what is this vulnerabilities. There are 4 vulnerabilities. Now you can report them. Okay, saying that hey, this has 4 different vulnerabilities. Go and patch to the latest version. Otherwise, someone can perform the denial of a service, or they can gather some sensitive information. They can also perform the path traversal attack, which is // attack to read some of the server internal files. And they can also perform the code overflow attack that can leads to arbitrary code execution. I mean, they can compromise the entire system itself. Okay, so we can inform them that there are 4 vulnerabilities are there. Okay, if any one of the vulnerability can be exploitable, okay, I'll also show you how to exploit those vulnerabilities to get into the server. But this is a place, okay, that we go manually and check it out about the vulnerability details. But when you use an automated vulnerability scanner, the scanner itself will pick up all these details and it will compare those results with their database, and it will tell you all the vulnerabilities in a good graphical representation, okay, like this. So I have the Nessus which is pre-installed. Let me show you some of the older scans to you so that you guys will understand. So I'll tell you how to install the Nessus and how to run the different scan. You can see here is some of the results of the Nessus. And I'll tell you the vulnerability details in a graphical representation. Okay, how many critical, high, medium, low, info. So if you click on the critical, okay, if you click on this, it will tell you what is the description of the vulnerability and what solution we need to apply and output. Okay, so it performed the attack and they got the access to the target server and where the vulnerability, like in which port the vulnerability is, and the CVSC score, CVSS score, and severity, plugin ID. So I mean, the Nessus use something called plugin IDs to store all the different types of vulnerability detections. Okay, and when it is published, when it is modified, what type of a vulnerability it is, etc., etc. So every tool, if you use this kind of tools like Nessus and Qualys, they'll make your work very easy. Okay, so yeah, in upcoming class we'll also perform this vulnerability scans to get the complete details about the vulnerabilities and the security postures like this. Then later I'll show you how do we exploit those vulnerabilities to get into the system. So yeah, in tomorrow's session we will learn how do we exploit, okay, by doing manual research of the vulnerability into the internet. Then I'll also guide you how to install this Nessus and Qualys. So in upcoming sessions we will run this Qualys and Nessus scans on our infrastructure to identify the various types of vulnerabilities, because these are most commonly used tools in the corporate, okay, to run their vulnerability management program. So yeah, so I'll give you the hands-on experience about how the tools work. I mean, from the deployment to creating the reports and sharing with the respective teams. So I'll explain you the entire vulnerability management as well. But before that, just go through the nmap and whatever the topics we have completed, understand them. Okay, because these tools also will use the same technique. Okay, here we call them as a profiles. Okay, so we'll be having different profiles. So according to the profiles, the scans will be initiated. So unless if you know how the systems are responding, you cannot create a good profile over here. Okay, like scanning profile over here. So yeah, just go through it, guys.